Hey everybody, Sammy here at SFI Sports Cards back with another video. Today is October 9th. So I usually start my videos off with some birthdays, so let's take a look at the list here. Starling Marte, it is your birthday. He has a big game tonight. National League Wild Card, Game 3 is tonight. Joe Pepitone, ex-Yankee, his birthday is today. Along with two Bryans, Brian Roberts, who used to play with the Orioles, and Brian Downing. Brian Downing, I believe he was one of the first players to incorporate weightlifting in his routine. If you've ever seen any of his cards, you will know why, as he was a very swole looking man. Hall of Famers, Joe Sewell, one of my favorites, his birthday, and also Hall of Famer Rube Marquard. And if Rube was alive today, he would be 136 years old. Will I make it that far? Only time will tell. But playoffs. I am fully invested in the baseball playoffs. I've watched a majority of the games except for Game 1 of Tampa Bay Cleveland. I was at work. But so far, all the teams that I've wanted to advance have advanced. Well, the series, the Cardinals-Phillies series, I didn't really have a clear favorite. But I'm okay with Philly making it. Now we just need the Padres to defeat the Mets, and I'll be happy. Sorry to those Mets fans out there, but I'm a Yankees fan. I do not root for them. Some Yankees fans do. I do not. But if they do advance, good luck to the Mets. So, as you see, we have some cards here. What do they all have in common? These players are all former World Series MVPs. So I decided, let's take a look at some other cards. Some other players that have won the now called Willie Mays World Series MVP Award. This award was first given in 1955, won by this man, Johnny Padres. So I was looking at the list of former World Series MVPs, wondering how I'm going to put this in a video. So I decided I'll take a player from each decade. So, player from the 2020s, 2010s, 2090s, and so on, all the way back to the 50s. So we'll start with the decade of the 2020s, which we are currently in. I selected 2020 World Series MVP Corey Seager. This is his 2018 Topps Chrome. That year in the World Series, he hit 400. 2 home runs, 5 RBIs. I remember watching this, and Seager just was on fire. I think it's pretty cool that out of all the players on that team, which was stacked, that Tampa cannot get this guy out. So he had one more season in LA after that World Series, but I'm pretty sure that World Series got him that huge contract in Texas, which is where he is now. Okay, so on to the decade of 2010s. I went with Salvador Perez, 2015 MVP of the World Series. In 2015, he hit 364, but he also caught 51 innings in 5 games. Now, I'm not a mathematician. I know at least one of you out there is, but that's over 10 innings a game. He really got that Royals pitching staff through that World Series like a field general. Like he still is, actually. The Mets, that series, had 1 stolen base over 5 games, which he had a lot to do with. So that is my pick for that decade. We go to the decade of the 2000s. This one, I decided to pick 2003 World Series MVP Josh Beckett. This is his 2002 Bowman auto. I remember I bought a box of 2002 Bowman. It was guaranteed 1 auto, and this was the auto. So out of all the cards I could have gotten, I think this is a pretty good pull that I had. So that World Series, the Yankees faced the Marlins, and as a Yankees fan, before the series even started, I knew the Yankees did not have a chance because they were much more athletic than the Yankees were. I almost said we, like I was playing, but I mean that team had Pudge Rodriguez, a young Derek Lee, young Mike Lowell, and a 20-year-old Miguel Cabrera. But to me, the difference was the 2 guys at the top of the lineup, Juan Pierre and Louie Castillo. They were always on base, and I knew they were going to run all over us. And as a Yankees fan, as much as I wanted them to win that year, kind of knew the Marlins would outplay us. I said us again. Well, I said we before, but I meant the Yankees. Beckett went 1-1, had a shutout, and 19 strikeouts over, I'm going to say, 16 innings. So the Yankees, they just didn't have a chance against them. But that's my pick for that decade. Oh, I actually have Louie Castillo's autograph as well. There you go. This looks like 2001. No, it's in archives. Must be. Not really sure. What's it say here? 2018. Cool card, though. Next. Okay, the 90s. World Series MVP. 1991. Jack Morris. This is a 2004 Donruss Timeline Boys of Summer auto. I got this out of a Jam Packs subscription box where you are guaranteed 1 Hall of Fame auto, and I happen to be Jack Morris. Cool looking card. For all you Tigers fans out there, Lisa Z, I know you're a Tigers fan if you're watching the video. But Game 7, 1991, probably the most tense Game 7 I've ever watched, as far as not having rooting interest in either team. It was pretty much a masterclass of pitching. Jack Morris and John Smoltz. Morris pitched a 10-inning shutout. Now I remember watching this game, and I felt that Morris was saying to himself, this game is pretty much my legacy as far as my baseball career. And in my opinion, I think that game got him into the Hall of Fame. And I think if he did not pitch that game and how it ended up, he would not be in Cooperstown. But that's just me. So there's the Jack Morris auto. And I'm not a big auto fan. I don't seek out autographs like some collectors do, which is cool. If I happen to pick one out of a pack or subscription box, that's pretty cool. But I don't go out of my way to get autos. But that could change. Okay, the decade of the 80s. How could we forget this guy's run? Orel Hershiser, 1988. The Bulldog. Couldn't score on him. Seems like that whole year. He had that scoreless streak, and he took that into the playoffs. The World Series gave up 7 hits in 18 innings. Was 2-0. And by the way, in the World Series, he went 3 for 3 at the plate with 2 doubles, scored a run, and drove in a run as well. So he was pretty much unstoppable. That was a great run to watch. Hershiser in 1988. Okay, let's move on to the 70s. I'm going to pick a player that won 2 World Series MVPs in that decade, and that is Reginald Jackson. Mr. October. It's called that for a reason. When the lights shine the brightest, he came to the forefront. Now, he is a Hall of Famer for his tremendous career, but I think even more so for his performances in the playoffs when it mattered most. He's got 18 career home runs. That's 5th all time, tied with Mickey Mantle. Everybody knows his exploits in the World Series games. Hit 3 home runs in one game. 5 for the series, 77. So I had to pick him. Okay. 60s. Actually, this card has 2 men on there that won 2 MVPs. So we're talking Sandy Koufax. He won 2 World Series MVPs, 1963, 1965. And Bob Gibson, he also won it twice in that decade, 1964, 1967. First of all, this card is amazing. I remember I got it graded, came back authentic, like a punch in the gut, but after all this time, it doesn't really matter to me anymore. Because just it looks awesome. But Koufax, when he won those 2 MVPs, combined stats, 4-1, 4 complete games, 2 shutouts, 4 earned runs in 42 innings, 52 strikeouts. And Bob Gibson, combined 1964 and 67, went 5-1, 5 complete games, hurled a shutout, 57 Ks in 54 innings. So this is pure dominance by these men. 2 of the greatest to ever toe the rubber. Koufax and Gibson. Finally, we go to the 50s. Is there anyone else that it could be than Don Larsen? 1956 perfect game in the World Series, Game 5. He actually started Game 2 against Don Newcomb. Gave up 4 unearned runs. So he's pulled after an inning and 2/3. Then he got the start in 56. Some fans wondered why. Some writers wondered why. But it ended up being the greatest performance for one game in World Series history. He wasn't the most dominant pitcher, but I don't know, something was in the air that day. Look at the lineup he had to face. Jim Gilliam, Pee Wee Reese, Duke Snyder, Jackie Robinson, Gil Hodges, Sandy Amoros, Carl Furillo, and Roy Campanella. That's who he had to navigate through for a perfect game. Now, the last batter he faced was Dale Mitchell, who was called out looking. And that happened to be Dale Mitchell's final at bat ever. Dale Mitchell, in his career, had 4,358 career plate appearances. He struck out 119 times. So that's an average about 17 per season. And that's how his career ended. Called third strike. Perfect game. Game over. So, there you go. My little tribute to the playoffs this year. I hope you guys are watching them. Very exciting so far. Not so exciting for some fans that their teams have been eliminated, but I will continue to watch. But I just want to give that to you guys today. More content on the way. You guys know what to do. Subscribe if you like the channel. If you like the content. Most importantly, throw me some comments, because I love talking about this stuff. I love talking about cards. I love talking about history and stories of players. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video. I will be getting back to you guys soon. We'll show some more cards, rip some packs, and yeah, we'll see what else is coming next on the channel. So I hope you guys are enjoying the weekend. Be safe out there. I will talk to you soon. Take care.